Hello and a very warm welcome to this special. What an exciting test match it is turning out to be in Edgbaston. We saw a bit of baseball as well. Well, I think it should be renamed as Bears ball because Jonny Bairstow seems to be the only one who's actually following that whole brand of baseball. But despite that, India very much in commanding position after day 3 of the Edgbaston test. Cheteshwar Pujara scored a 50, showing yet again why he's so important in India's scheme of things overseas, and Rishabh Pant at the crease with him at the moment. 257 is the lead that India have taken. What is going to be a good enough lead for India? It is exciting. We're looking ahead to the action. I'm joined by Santosh Suri from Edgbaston, and also Nikhil Narayan joins me here. Gentlemen, you can play any kind of baseball. India very much showing who is in the driver's seat, who is the boss here. Santosh sir, yet again, Indian pace bowlers in the first half of the day showing what they are capable of. And how often have we seen them do this, be it in Australia or in England, just showing how it's done in English conditions?
See, if you have a pace bowler of the caliber of Mohammad Siraj, who bowls, after the main pace of Bumrah and Shami, and then you have the very intelligent swing bowler in Shardul Thakur. So you have a perfect combination of 4 bowlers attacking you all the time. So that has been India's, main attacking strategy, to go in with 4 pace bowlers and rely very little on what used to be India's traditional strength of spin. In fact, spin, we hardly saw 2 overs from Jadeja. So we can see that India are, in dominant position basically because of their, 4-pronged pace attack. And the conditions also in Edgbaston have been favoring pacers. It has been stop, start, and rainy. And today, in fact, it is quite cool and nice breeze is blowing. So I think pacers are going to get a bit of help out of this condition here this morning. And I think the aim of the Indian team would be to add another 150 runs and take it to 400 at least, and really bat England out of contest. But we have seen England believe what they can chase. They say that we are not bothered and we'll go down. Yesterday, Bairstow said that whatever be total, we are going to go after it. We have no other option but to, go for a win because we are trailing in this series. So
Sure.
let's see how the day pans out. But good thing is there is not much of a rain forecast today. So I think we should first time have a full day's play today.
Yeah, because we lost a lot of overs yesterday as well, and there were people on social media complaining about how for fans, it was a little unfair. They didn't get full quota of overs, but what we saw was fascinating cricket. Nikhil, we've talked about this going into the series, about how this is new brand of cricket that England have adopted. We're going to see that. Well, we saw it from Jonny Bairstow. How incredible was his innings? And maybe, just maybe, Virat Kohli should have kept quiet at that moment, because till then he'd scored 13 of 60 deliveries, and what he did after that was complete counter-attack and got to 100 in no time.
Absolutely, man. I was actually pleasantly surprised that Bairstow pulled it off against this Indian bowling attack. 19 of 67. The first 67 balls he faced, just scored 19. He was beaten, troubled 20 times in those 67 deliveries. So 1/3 of his deliveries by Bumrah, Shami, he was not. He was looking all at sea. Doubts were increasing whether he can repeat what he did against New Zealand, whether baseball can work against this quality Indian attack. But then the trigger by Kohli and a show of intent. Jonny Bairstow hit Jasprit Bumrah down the ground for a boundary, and that just changed everything. That one shot of intent changed everything. From 19 of 67, he reached his century in 119 balls. Then his strike rate. In fact, he reached his 50. Next 31 runs, he scored just 14 balls at a strike rate of above 200, and then he's reached his century in 119 balls at overall, 19 of 67, and then to score 106 or 140. The second half of his innings, he scored at a strike rate of, run rate of 6.5. So
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant by Bairstow, counter-attacking and choosing his battles. He was circumspect against Bumrah. He respected Shami, but he went after Shardul Thakur. He went after Mohammad Siraj. And the difference between Jonny Bairstow was controlled aggression and periods of caution. Unlike Ben Stokes, who was reckless, and he threw his wicket away. He almost, it almost felt that he's going to get out of the next delivery. He was lucky that Bumrah dropped a chance, and again he, hit the same ball, same area, and Bumrah picked up a blinder. So, reckless aggression by Ben Stokes, but control aggression by Jonny Bairstow, and living up to Bazball, although it may not be enough to get England out of the woods in this test match, but it has at least given them an outside chance. So let's see what happens, but at least given them a glimmer of hope, Jonny Bairstow's Bazball.
Okay, so Jonny Bairstow, very different in his approach, Santosh Rai, isn't that so? I mean, you look at his batting, he doesn't conform like we've seen Joe Root, not in that traditional mold, and almost like Rishabh Pant. I mean, he's a very good, judge of length of the ball, which is so important here. Just the way the ball's coming at you, you know what to do with it, just has extra time. Another maverick in a similar mold like Rishabh Pant.
Yeah, absolutely. But thing is, Bairstow is quite experienced now, so he knows how to shift the gears. Initial part of his inning was very cautious, watchful, and when he finally got set, then he went on the attack. But yeah, basically, like you said, he is in the Rishabh Pant mold, who believe that you should go after the bowling, whatever be it. I think for them, attack is the best defense, and to rattle the opposite bowling and all. So that's the way they are playing these days. But see, there is contrast also.
Right.
You see how Cheteshwar Pujara is playing, which is, of course, a lot of fans won't like his style of batting, in Dar and defense and all. But then he's a guy who has seen India face of the new ball when there was a threat that, Kohli had gone and the openers had gone. So he held one end up and
Absolutely.
now he'll allow the players like Pant and Shreyas and Jadeja to come and play their natural attacking game and, take the innings forward and carry on the momentum.
Yeah.
So we cannot negate the, role of Cheteshwar Pujara, who is, the
Absolutely.
traditional type of test player than what we have seen.
Absolutely. In fact, you've cued me to our next graphics, which is on Cheteshwar Pujara and how overseas he's been such a vital player for this Indian team. And sometimes you feel like, all the criticism, Nikhil, that he gets is slightly unfair, because when it matters the most, which are all your big overseas wins, he has played a crucial role, be it Sydney, be it Brisbane. And, yes, Rishabh Pant can come and score a quick fire 89, and you'll remember that in Gabba. But also remember that in the same test, here was a man who played 200 plus deliveries and blunted the Australian attack for a Rishabh Pant to come and score like that.
Absolutely. And before that at the SCG, I mean, what he did, India wouldn't have reached the Gabba. The series would have been over at the SCG, but for, the role he played, I mean, playing out deliveries against a high quality Australian pace attack, and the partnership, again, it was him and Pant, if you remember at the SCG, who sort of, Pant attacked, and, Cheteshwar Pujara again played out deliveries, patience, which is his virtue. So the thing with Pujara, Mia, is very interesting. He has a decent record. He's played some fine high impact knocks in overseas conditions, especially in Sena, SCG, Brisbane, the Oval, now Birmingham, Johannesburg. In the period he has struggled since 2020, he has no hundreds. The problem is, as a country and as also an analyst, we are obsessed with hundreds. If a batsman doesn't score hundreds, we think he has failed. Yes, Pujara overall, his average is also not that good, but that is mainly because his numbers in India are abysmal in this period, which is surprising. But his numbers overseas, especially in Sena countries, are actually quite good. He's come up with these performances which are not given their due. And if not for these performances, India wouldn't have had some of these famous wins in Sena since 2020. So, Cheteshwar Pujara needs to be given his due. He's still a vital cog for India. overseas in the Sena countries. And yesterday again, if Cheteshwar Pujara didn't produce 50 out of 130 deliveries, India could have been well bowled out for 150. And then England is chasing 280, 290. Remember, they chased 290 plus twice in the New Zealand series.
Yes.
So Pujara is, an extremely important batsman still for India overseas. In India, the selectors will have to see, because then you have to play two different batsmen at number 3, which does not happen often in Test cricket.
Yeah, which then takes me to the next question. Then are you looking at Pujara just as your overseas expert, overseas specialist, Santosh sir? Play him as an opener or as a number 3 overseas?
Absolutely. The good thing is that he doesn't take the criticism to heart. And the great thing is that he's ready to take the blows on his body, on his fingers. And he's not a guy who will, shy away from challenges. Any other person, you could have well said that I've got hurt on my finger and leave the field for, say, injured and go back in pavilion and rest, and then let's see, I'll come later. That's not his character.
Absolutely.
So that is a great thing about him, that he is a fighter to the core. And he's a guy who's showing people that, yeah, this is also a part of Test cricket. It's not just bang, bang, and you go hammer and tongs, and sometimes you fail, sometimes no. But this is the guy who's showing the future generation, okay, not only white ball cricket, but red ball cricket, there is a different set of rules that you have to follow while batting, and he is a classic example of that.
Yeah, and it mustn't be easy being Cheteshwar Pujara, Nikhil. I mean, he gets ridiculed every time IPL comes along. Anyone who's scoring slowly gets compared to Cheteshwar Pujara. His strike rate is made fun of. He wasn't sold in IPL since 2015 till I think in 2021 when CSK finally bought him, and there was like this bit of clapping and appreciating his effort because of what he had done. In fact, in Australia, right before that, since then again hasn't been sold. But he plays this, and this is his style. And what yesterday showed us was that this is just as important. If you need Rishabh Pant, who's very important in your side right now, this style of play is just as important.
Absolutely, Maya. And there is no one formula to success in Test cricket, especially overseas. Baseball cannot win you matches single-handedly. You need baseball, plus you need Pujara ball. I mean, whatever you want to call it. You need, a batsman like Pujara in almost every team. And Pujara is one of the Test greats we have. Yes, there is a problem with strike rate, but that problem was in India. And therefore, it is an interesting question for the selectors now, that whether they don't play him in India and they only play him overseas in Sena countries. But Pujara is needed in England, Australia, South Africa and New Zealand. In all these countries, he's given high impact performances, even when his overall performance since 2020 has gone down. So without India, Pujara wouldn't have won many of these Test matches, these famous wins in Sena. And he's an old school batsman. He attaches a price on his wicket. Patience is his virtue. Not many batsmen have it. In fact, he and Vihari are of the same mold, but Pujara is, has a little more pedigree than Vihari. And there's a reason why he was, nicknamed the wall from the great Rahul Dravid. There is still a place even in this baseball phase of Test cricket we are getting into for someone like Cheteshwar Pujara. You cannot win matches based only on a single philosophy, however attractive it may look.
And on top of that, considering how much the balls moved in the first 20 to 30 overs, to have an opener even get to a 50 in these conditions, which is fantastic to see. The other thing also being that I love the way bowlers, Santosh sir, get irritated by Pujara after a point. So they try to tempt him outside the off stump. He just doesn't bite the bait. He'll, leave all the deliveries that are even slightly outside the off stump. Then they don't know what to do. So they start peppering him with short deliveries. And the thing with Cheteshwar Pujara, and we've seen this even in Australia, that he can take a body blow. I remember him saying this. This was after Australia. I'd done an interview with him. And he said, I said, it must have been terrible given that, you were hit everywhere by the Australian bowlers. And he's like, I've developed a thick skin now. Nothing really matters to me. I know that for someone like him, it just means a lot, just being there. Even the fact that if he doesn't play IPL, he'll go play county, and he's obviously scored runs by the bucketfuls, and that's why has made his comeback into the side. So for him, it's really about playing with that technique, and as long as he's going to keep doing it, nothing that people say will bother him.
Absolutely. He comes from a cricketing background. His father, Arvind Pujara, his uncle also used to play Ranji Trophy for Saurashtra. So he was taught cricket by his father and uncle. And, Rajkot is known for batting paradise. The wickets are so, placid that you ultimately turn into a solid batsman there. So he has cricket culture, and he has been ingrained that to fight for your wicket right from the start. So I've seen his father. We have played with him in Rajkot also, and from there I can know that what has come down is come from the family, his father, his uncle, and that he has carried on, and that has really held him in good stead. He is one person in modern cricket who is willing to, hang out there, take blows on the body, face the challenge, be disciplined, and play within the limits that he has according to his talent. There are many deliveries that are well pitched up to him. A normal batsman, would have easily driven it to the fence for a four, but he just pushes it into the covers. Of course, it is that time the fans and the other cricket experts feel frustrated. Why doesn't he play a bit faster? Why isn't his strike rate a bit more than sometimes India do lose an initiative because of his
Correct.
slow run getting. So that problem is there. But ultimately, if you see the whole picture and his test career, he has been a great servant of Indian cricket. And to think that he's played already 96 test matches, and I think by the time Australia comes to India next year, he
Yeah.
will be playing his 100th test match. So that will be a great occasion for him and a great tribute, and a guy who never bothered about criticism, never bothered about failures, never bothered about what's happening in the
Yes.
media, and he has played his game, and I hope he goes on to play his 100th test match in Jan-Feb next year when Australia is here.
Absolutely. Okay, let's now take a look at some of the visuals coming out from outside the stadium in Edgbaston. A lot of fans again. It's a weekday, but they don't care.
खास करके लेस्टर में स्टडीज करने के लिए आया हूँ। मैं और मेरा दोस्त हम लोग लेस्टर से आज बर्मिंघम आए हैं इंडिया इंग्लैंड का डे 4 का मैच देखने को। इंडिया ऑलरेडी अच्छे पोजीशन में है, मैच जीतने के इस पे आए हैं। और कल का बैटिंग देखा गया तो पुजारा ने हाफ सेंचुरी किया और इंडिया का ऑलरेडी 250 रन का लीड पे, तो इंडिया स्ट्रांग पोजीशन में मैच जीतने का, इसलिए हम लोग सब सपोर्ट करने हैं और मैं बिलीव करता हूँ कि इंडिया जरूर जीतेगा।
बिल्कुल। और क्या लगता है आज का टॉप परफॉर्मर इंडिया का कौन होगा?
मेरे हिसाब से पुजारा अभी 50 पे खेल रहा है और पंत भी 15 या 20 पे है, तो वो दोनों से मुझे बहुत एक्सपेक्टेशन है आज, और पुजारा का 100 होने का बहुत पॉसिबिलिटीज है।
So visuals from outside the stadium, as you can see, Indian fans thronging to the stadium, and why not? India in the driver's seat and commanding position to win this test match. And also, it seems like the weather is good. Santosh sir can give us more update on that. Doesn't look like, there are any clouds there. Seems like a nice sunny day, Santosh sir.
No, see, you can never predict in
True.
England. It was sunny just a few moments ago. Again, the clouds have come and there is a cool breeze. So the day will continue like that. Hide and seek it will be. The only thing is it won't rain. Once it rains, you easily lose 2 hours because you have to lay out the covers. The whole infrastructure has to be put out. And then when the rain stops, then again you have to, wrap it up, dry the ground. So I think even half an hour rain really gets you back by, say, 2 hours. So that is the whole thing. And of course, there is a lot of enthusiasm where we are staying in a hotel. Last night, late night, the guy couldn't open the door, so I had to get up and open the door and let him into the hotel. And he said that he's coming from Leicester. Some is saying that he's come from Durban. And, right now, then I asked, how do you miss your colleges and come? He said, abhi to project chal raha hai. We are doing our projects. So it's not so much of a problem. So we can, go out and come to Edgbaston and watch the match for 2-3 days, so it's not a big deal. In England, what they do is they book, you can book tickets for first 3 days, and they leave the option of the last fourth and fifth day open. So these guys who did not get tickets for the first 3 days can, get tickets for fourth day and fifth day. In fact, they say that sometimes if there is not much of a cricket left, so they can, allow fans to come in free on the fifth day. So let's see tomorrow what the situation is, if there is enough play for them to come in.
I'm sure we've all had these moments. Nikhil would have had these moments where he's gone, left, missed a day of college and gone to watch cricket, Nikhil. I'm sure you've had those.
Many times. I've missed exams, watched matches all night. I mean, absolutely. Such is the love affair with the game. But yes, of course.
Okay, now some of our viewers are watching this and saying match kab start hoga. So match is going to start exactly at 3 o'clock, but it is an extended session, Santosh sir. It will go on till 11:30 tonight, Indian time.
Absolutely, yeah, 7 local time, and that's 11:30 in India, because we have lost so many overs. First day I think 73 overs, then next day 39, and then 78 was the maximum yesterday. So we have lost a lot of overs. In fact, if you calculate it, so it comes to around 2.25 days of. So we have to make up overs, but I don't know if pace bowlers bowling all the time, and there are stoppages for ball change, and then there is weather issues, injury issues. How many overs can be made up? That I don't know. But let's see. Hope we get a full display and there is no, weather intervention, and the crowds. It's going to be full again today, and hopefully they'll enjoy a great day of cricket here.
There you can see these are visuals from just a while back. Indian team arriving at Edgbaston. There is Shreyas Iyer going in. Also good news is that Rohit Sharma, his COVID test is negative, so he's ready to play the T20Is and ODIs. Mohammad Siraj, the hero of yesterday. Again, one of the things about Indian pacers, Nikhil, is not just your top two pacers in Mohammad Shami and Jasprit Bumrah, who've been bowling beautifully. It's the others who come in. Mohammad Siraj, he is relentless as well. He's attacking from the word go. And I mean, I would think that Mohammad Shami was unlucky in the way that he was bowling. You would have wanted him to get more wickets. But then Mohammad Siraj came in, and it was because of the pressure from Bumrah and Shami that Siraj got those wickets as well.
Absolutely, and happy for Siraj that he picked up a 4-wicket haul, given that he was, under par in his wicket-taking propensity in the IPL, and also his numbers after an impressive series in Australia had fallen in Test cricket also. So good for Siraj that he, chipped in with 4 wickets. For me, although Bumrah was the pick of the bowlers, and Shami was very unlucky. Shami has been unlucky in England. In the 2018 tour, he was unlucky. He was unlucky in 2021. He's not picking as many wickets as he should, but he's beating the bat. I think even a more number of times percentage-wise than even Jasprit Bumrah. But collectively, and we discussed this yesterday, Maya, India's pacers, the quartet, we can use the word quartet for India's pacers, and there cannot be anything, there cannot be anything better in Indian cricket, which has happened in the last 4 years. Earlier, we used to talk about the quartet of, Bishang Singh Bedi, Prasanna, the spin quartet. Now we can talk about the quartet of Indian pacers, which keeps changing. There was Umesh Yadav and Ishant before with Bumrah and Shami. Now we have Siraj, there's Prasad Krishna in the wings, there's Shardul Thakur. Collectively, since 2018, as we discussed yesterday, the best bowling average in the world, the second best bowling strike rate. Bumrah has been exceptional in Sena since 2018. I think Bumrah is, that fulcrum around which the pace bowling attack has grown enormously since his debut in the South Africa series in 2018. Since then, India's numbers have been phenomenal. And as I said, credit not only to him, but to the management yesterday, Virat Kohli, Ravi Shastri, everyone, how they have sort of nurtured these fast bowlers. India has won 9 test matches, Meha, in the last 4 years in Sena. They only won, I think the numbers are 18 or something in 46 years before that. Which is absolutely astonishing, India's record in Sena. It's because of these fast bowlers that India has achieved that.
Santosh sir, you went for Mohammad Siraj's press conference. Anything interesting to have come out of that?
I'm sorry, there's so much of noise in the background.
I said you went for Mohammad Siraj's press conference. Anything interesting to have come out of that? Yesterday, Mohammad Siraj's press conference?
Very tough to tell. I think
Okay.
national anthem or something is going on.
Okay, so this is what happens. These are, occupational hazard. When you're sitting in the stadium and you're trying to do a show, when you're sitting in the stadium and you're trying to do the show, it's very noisy outside. Can you hear me now, sir?
I have to wait for this thing to finish off.
Okay. Okay, I'll try to come back to you. We'll get the producer to fix your earpiece. And till then, those are the visuals then from outside the stadium. Lot of Indian fans going into, and which is incredible, Nikhil, because I mean, you watch T20 cricket and we're watching so much of T20 cricket these days with IPL having just gotten over. Can I tell you, I have tried not to miss a single ball of this test match, and I'm sure it's the same with you. It's been riveting the last 3 days.
Absolutely. Right through the IPL, I was praying, when will the IPL get over? Although we were doing rigorous analysis and shows every day for the IPL, but I was looking forward to this Birmingham test, and that is just the beauty of test cricket, especially test cricket in England. And also given the gravity of the series, I mean, India will win a test series in England after more than, almost 15 years. So it is a big, big match, one of the biggest matches in India's recent test cricket history, this Birmingham test, given what all has changed. And, test cricket is still the pinnacle. And, a lot of people say test cricket is over because of T20 cricket. I think T20 cricket has done a favor to test cricket just because of the way, this baseball, more test matches now have results than in any decade in test cricket history. I mean, I'm not talking about 1900 and 1910, but after that, in the last 100 years, this is one of the most result-oriented decades in test cricket history, and courtesy to T20 cricket and the IPL and other leagues. So, test cricket is the pinnacle of cricket, and it will remain so. I think it can coexist with T20 cricket, even go in the foreseeable future.
Okay, then we'll end with these live visuals from Edgbaston. Like Nikhil said, test cricket, the pinnacle of it all, and that's what we're waiting to watch. Day 4 of this exciting test match. Hopefully India get to 400 quickly and then put England into bat, and then we'll know what the Indian paces are capable of. We've seen that in the last 3 days. That's it then. Santosh Suri, Nikhil Narayan, both of you, thank you so much. Hope the rain stays away, Santosh sir, so we can get a full game, full day's play. That's it then on this special. News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to for the latest from the world of sports. If you haven't already done it, please do so. We've got wonderful interviews, and not just cricket, football, there's hockey, every other sport, athletics. We cover everything for all the sports lovers. So News9 Sports is what you need to subscribe to. That's it from us. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.